Curtains on a double track so that there's an overlap. Cuts down a massive amount of cold getting into that side of the boat, which in winter is brilliant. And also when we're working in this side of the boat, there's lots of dust and sawdust and crap, and it kind of closes off the fact that we're in a workspace when we go to bed at night. Oh yeah, so the difference between this bit when the curtains are closed and that bit is incredible. So cold that this is where we would put, because we don't have a fridge or anything yet, this is where we would put all the milk and cheese and perishables, because we called it the freezer. Oh no, we didn't, we called it the fridge. And so you'd say, you know, oh, where's the milk? Oh, we put it in the fridge. And you just open the curtains and there it is. For moving heavy things around your boaty working environment, stick everything on a dolly if you can. We've got the water tank on a dolly down the other end. We put the stove on a dolly when we were moving it around so that we could sort out the floorboards.
Dance with me, dance with me. We've got this little plant pot dolly, which is made out of wood and sort of plastic wheels, which is actually working very well, which means we can just move this much easier up and down the boat when we come to lay the floor down.
Yeah. So long as we don't need any fires.
Well, yeah. But even if we did need a fire, we could make one anyway because it's portable.
No, we can't because we need a chimney. We've put loads of things on dollies. Get yourself some simple dollies or make yourself some dollies. It makes the world of difference.
Yeah, it's easier to move things around from one end to the boat to the other when you're working at one end, and you can save your back.
Dolly investment, investing dollies.
Trying to keep things out of the way and tripping up is a good idea. To try and hang as many things that get in the way. So we've got some wood and we've got some plastic piping, and it just occurred to me one day that we could just hang it up like you do hang stuff in garages, really, and that meant that it's out the way and safe. We were tripping over loads of stuff. I mean, yeah. We've got, like, you know, we've got the piano hinges that we're going to use for the engine bay up here. Yeah. That if we'd left them on the floor, they would have ended up piano hinging round corners. Yeah, and but also then it's here, it's on the boat, so if you need that bit of wood or you need that sort of hinge, you know where it is, it's hung up. And one of the things that we've been doing is moving them from one side to the other as we've been working, and they're just simply sort of hooked up with tie wraps and screws into the battens. Yeah.
I mean, it depends on how you're doing your ceilings and things, but if you can hook things up, keeps them out of the way.
Keeps them out of the way.
If you've got no facilities on your boat, so you're renovating this boat and you've got no galley, you've got no water tanks, you've got no bathrooms or anything like this, you basically, like us, you've just got a shell, you're going to need some things, some basic things, and one of the most basic things is a cooker, some sort of stove. We have the stove here and we cook a lot on the multi-stove, and when we first moved on here we cooked almost everything, but we moved on in winter, and so having the stove on in winter was brilliant, but come summer you don't want the fire on, so we bought a little camping stove and we set up a little sort of portable galley system, and this was like 15 quid from a camping store. It runs on this kind of gas, it's butane gas, and the gas canisters cost about £6. One gas canister will last about 3 days if you're using it quite a lot. We make a lot of tea, as I'm sure you know. And the other important thing to make sure you have is a kettle, because you can't have tea without a kettle or a pan. And you need some little sort of frying pans or saucepans and things. And we bought a little camping set. It has a saucepan, a frying pan and a kettle. So get something that you can use that you don't, you're not too kind of worried about, but something that's going to give you food and drink and warmth and tea, especially tea.
So it is now boiled. It's a couple of minutes later and it's properly boiling. So we turn it down, turn it off. It's all nice and safe. These camping thingies have this rubber stuff on it, which is brilliant because it doesn't eat up.
It's silicone handles, Martin.
Yeah. So we do that. We get the little spoon which we've left in there.
Did we mean to leave it in there?
So then we're very careful these days with tea bags, you see. Tea bags are our nemesis. So we get a tea bag, we leave that in for a little bit because we like it strong, and we put that back on there to keep the water clean, and we put that on there to let the aromatic oils infuse with the water and the tea, because if they escape then the tea's not so good. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. One of the really good things about these little camping pans, gosh, you can see how used it is, because it's a bit bashed and everything now, but one of the really good things about them is it's a thinner metal, so it heats up really, really quickly. It doesn't retain a lot of heat, but that's not a problem. It heats up really quickly, so if you're using a camping stove, you're not using too much gas to cook with, and if you're using a cast iron stove, then it's not having to force its way through a heavy metal base. And it's the same with the kettle, so that it heats up. On a camping stove, this heats up really well, bubble like a bugger. This is our grey water station. For the first few months we were washing in a combination of different bowls and things, because although the boatyard has toilets, it doesn't have showers or anything like this, and we were only staying on the boat maybe 2 or 3 days, so just kind of general washing was okay, and we could get a shower later on. But it was a mixture of a combination of bowls, and then at the end you would throw the water out of the side hatch. It was ridiculously Victorian. It was so funny and also made me really nervous. So now what we have is this little grey water station. This was the thing that was left over on the boat from when it was gutted, when the boatyard gutted it. It's just a little ceramic sink, little porcelain thing, and this was a little cabinet that Martin got from a charity shop. They were basically giving it away, so he gave him a donation and just took this, and this is a 25 litre, that's my deodorant. This is a 25 litre bottle that lovely Scott from the boatyard gave us, and so that sits in there. We have a rubber pipe which goes from the outlet of the sink all the way into this, and then when this gets to about here, we just basically go and empty it into the canal. It is grey water, nothing other than grey water goes into here. So it's face washing, it's dish washing, it's, tea sometimes, if there's any tea ever left over. That goes in there. Close that up. It's a fairly snug fit and everything. It's been properly waterproofed in. It's been Sikaflexed as well. So we literally just cut a hole in the top of this thing, stuck the sink on top and glued it in place. Obviously we don't have any taps or water systems yet. We will do soon, just not yet. We put a little shelf on there so we could put all the little toiletries and things that we need, and toothbrushes and shampoos and stuff. Little towel hooks. Put my deodorant back. Like there. Originally we had it on a dolly, a permanent dolly, so we could wheel it around. But it was too high up for me to actually wash my face properly. I was kind of like this. I mean, the whole washing system on our boat is incredibly sort of impressionist. It's very Degas. But it works, and it's much more efficient actually, and it feels a little bit more human. Not human's not the right word. Civilised. I'm going to throw the civilised word out there. Oh, being attacked by ply. So it has a little plug. Ooh, that doesn't normally happen. It cuts down on a lot of messing around, a lot of water getting everywhere, because with the bowl system we did end up getting water in places we didn't want water. And like I say, you can just, you use a pan, you can wash it up afterward, and it's got somewhere to go. So yeah, grey water.
Gloves. One of the interesting things about working with the materials that we've got, like ply, wood, metal very often, is that you can very easily get splinters. And we found these gloves in a DIY store, and they were quite expensive actually, like £6–7 for what they were, but we thought we'd give them a try. And they've got this sort of rubberized sort of front, but they're very tight on your hands, which means they do fit like a glove, and they do come in different sizes, so small, medium, large, extra large, and they've just been one of the best things. It's like you can work and you don't realise you've got gloves on, because you can pick up things, and you can even use your phone with them, your smartphone, that kind of thing, and they've been brilliant. And we've probably in a year and a half got through about 4 pairs each, and we make sure that we've got a few spare pairs around. We also have a couple of pairs on the go at any time, mainly because when you're using ply like this ash face ply, it's very, very pale, so we have a clean pair to be able to do that kind of work with, and then we have a more grungy pair, an older pair that we're doing, the sort of more mucky work, using paint or glue and those sorts of things, so that when we come back to working with ply, we've always got a really good pair. So it's useful to have 2 on the go. You can get them on eBay much cheaper, so have a look. These ones are Skytech, but other people make them as well. But yeah, gloves. One of the problems you find with working in a boat is
keeping the ceiling up.
Is about the amount of ply that you have and moving things around the boat. So from one end of the boat to the other as you're working on different areas.
And being able to see what you've got as well.
Yeah. Now, we were using props to help with the curve of the arch of the ceiling, but before that we actually was using them to prop up the ply. Originally when we brought them into the boat they were on the side, but then you've got a pile of, I think we had 18 sheets of ply originally sort of lined up, and it's a lot.
Yeah, and we couldn't work on one side. Well, we couldn't work on the side where the ply was.
Yeah, so you were moving ply from one side of the boat to the other. I came up with the idea of using a prop to be able to put ply on either side of it, which means that you can walk down one way or the other, and you can then look at the ply and see what you've got a lot easier, and you don't have to move it around the boat as often. You still have to move it, but just not as many times.
And it was brilliant. It's worked really well.
Yeah, simple, useful idea.
All the good ideas are Martin's. Talking about facilities, it's, I don't know, 11:30 at night, it's the middle of winter, there's snow outside, you're snug in your boat, you've got your little curtains closed, and you really need the loo. So, do you traipse all the way across the boatyard, assuming you're not in a marina, but all the way across the boatyard, in the mud and the rain and the freezing cold, or do you go to the other end of your boat, which is still probably a little bit cold, just not as wet and muddy, and use the portable toilet that you've got? Make sure that you get yourself a portable toilet for those times when you just don't want to go traipsing over to the toilet block in the boatyard. We have a Popaloo. It's basically a little festival toilet, but you have whatever toilet you feel happiest with. Stop talking now about toilets. But anyway, there you go. These are our Modesty blinds. You need these because in the morning when you're getting washed and you know you're having a whole Degar moment, you don't want people looking in potentially through your portholes. So we just made these little Modesty blinds. They didn't take that long to make, but we did put a bit of effort into them, and they were a bit of nice curtain, nice net, a couple of cardboard rings using a decent thickness mounting board, and some nice duct tape. And they're brilliant because they let in a lot of light, but they act they act like a net. They keep your modesty.
We didn't have electricity on the boat when we first started, and one of the things we needed was light, and we found these torches which are LEDs and they're rechargeable, both on 12 volt and 240, and these have been brilliant because you can hang them. They've got a hook, you can switch them on to in 3 settings. There's a basic torch which you can carry. You can then switch on one panel or both panels, and we found that you can hook them on things that way or that way. You can stand them up, prop them up. They've been really good, and they last quite a long time. You can go at least, I would say, 6 or 8 hours using these pretty much constantly. If you were to use both sides, it's about 3 hours, but you can probably use it for about 6 hours on and off. They do take a long time to charge up, fully charge, but I would definitely say invest in some decent LED lights if you can.
How bright are they?
They're very bright. Almost blinding if you look directly at them.
Which is why you're not putting it on
which
now.
I'm going to put them on now. So this is the torch, and this is daylight, obviously. That's one, and that's both.